Hi everyone, this is Mr. Orris. Today I'd like to show you how to use Google Drawings inside of a Google Doc for an assignment. So as you can see, I'm on a Google Doc right now, and a lot of times with docs, it's really easy just to insert an image. But what we want to do is actually insert something we're creating, not just a picture from the web. So I want to direct you up here to Insert, and we're going to drop down to Drawing. Now, as you can tell, there are two options. If you already have a drawing created, you could actually grab it right here from Google Drive. But what I'd like to do is insert a new drawing and show you some of the tools that you can use in Google Drawings. So when I click New, I basically get a Google Drawing, which, as you know, is a blank canvas for you to create on. And I get this as a pop-up. And what happens is as I create and I save and close, it will actually insert that right in my Google Doc. Okay, so we're going to look at a few of the main tools that you should use when creating a drawing. And the first one to look at is going to be a line creator. Now, there are actually many different types of lines that you can create. Don't be fooled by just the picture, because when you click on it, yeah, you could click and drag to draw a line, but there are more tools when you drop down. If I were to change this to an arrow and do it again, you can tell now that the beginning has a different icon. So notice every time that we click off or click, you're going to see a set of menu open up to the top. And what that allows you to do with your line or your arrow is to change the color, change how thick it is, change what type of line it is, and even change how it starts and how it ends. Okay, so there's a lot of different functionality you can use with the line tool. And again, I don't want you to get stuck thinking this just has to be straight lines. This could really become any type of line that you need, including what's called a scribble. So a lot of times in a diagram, you might have to show a path from one to another. And it just becomes a hand-drawn line. And again, you could change the color, you could change the thickness. I might have just made a river, okay? So the next thing we'd like to look at is we'd like to look at the shape tool. You could also add any type of shape that's listed in their menu. And specifically just adding a box, right? So the box might not look like much, but remember, these have tools that pop up that you can edit with. So for example, I could make my fill color a different color, or I could leave it transparent where you could see through that box. You could also change, again, the border now instead of the line. It's called the border color and the border thickness. And notice it's actually showing font, right? If I double click in this box, it becomes just like a text box. And I could type my label for my diagram. Other types of shapes you might use include any, obviously, of these, but you could also use arrows in this manner. You could actually create an arrow that points to something, and it's just like that text box. Double click on it, and you could type inside. Last one is a call out. If you think about using a call out like a cartoon character, these ones down here actually make it look like you're pointing to an object. So I can, do something like this with the cloud, and again, double click, and you're able to type inside that box. Just like a picture, you can drag and make it larger so it fits. One more tool to show you is very simply just adding text. Okay, so just adding a text box. The reason adding a text box might be helpful is to help you label any object like this line. So for example, if I were creating this text box, I could say this is a river, and notice it does not have a box around it. A shape is going to give you that automatic border, but a text box is just that. It's a box for you to type in. And you can take that box, and with this circle, you can rotate the orientation of your words. So I might label my river, but I might want it to say river over here. Or maybe I label my river this way and have it on this side. Okay, so using these simple tools at the top, your line tool, your shape tool, your text box tool can allow you to create. And remember, you still have the option to add an image, just a basic image. I could search for something in Google like a mountain range. I could find all sorts of different pictures if I added in something like clip art to the end or changed my type to clip art. Now I've get these pictures that are easier to annotate or label. And when I insert it, it becomes part of my picture. Okay, so a few last things to help you with Google Drawings. One would be something called layering. Layering is like blankets. Remember, I just put this picture on last, so automatically it puts it on top. But if I go to Actions and I scroll down to Order, there is something about ordering your pictures. And if I send it to the back, now everything else is going to be on top of it. All right. Last thing. Sometimes you want something more than just a text box. I'm referring to something called word art. And what word art is it is text that becomes a picture. So if I type a word as word art, I can now change its color, change its style, and move it just like you would move a picture. Okay? Resize it the same way, just like you would move a picture. So with these simple tools, there are all sorts of diagrams you can create. When you're done and you hit save and close, I want you to see what happens first. It just throws it in that document wherever your cursor happened to be. My cursor was here, I guess, when I clicked that insert Google Drawing, and now it just becomes a broken paragraph with a picture in the middle. Okay, but when you click on the picture, notice these different options. This says, I want my picture in line with my text, and look at the lines. It's showing that it breaks them apart. If I wrap my text, it will actually go around my picture, which is probably the best way to insert a Google Drawing. Because look, if I resize it from the corners and I move it around, now my text kind of fits alongside of it, and it looks like a newspaper. Okay. So when are you going to need some of these tools? Well, there's all sorts of projects, but specifically, let's look at a couple here. Let's start with this one. In this assignment, it is a diagram or a concept map that you have to add to. Well, Google Drawings, you get back into them by double clicking, and what was already here to get you started, you can continue by using those tools, by using an arrow, by using a text box, or in my case, maybe I put a shape first. Oops, sorry. Maybe I put a shape. Double click and we can type in it. And then inserting a text box on top. And the other thing always to remember that if things are already started for you, even in a drawing, I could take these things right here by selecting, and maybe I do a copy and paste. And that will help me continue the line into the next row. When I'm done, I save and close and make sure that that fits. And again, this is a picture. So if it starts to get smushed, well, you can extend it so that the picture is easy to read, or you can make it fit on a certain part of your page. Last example here, some gizmos come with these diagrams ready, and you know that you can edit them, one, by the directions, and two, by this little pencil. So, right, a double click allows me to get back into the drawing. So depending on what type of scribble it's asking me to do, or what type of directions are included, I can use any of those tools to help. And then when I save and close, it becomes added to that picture. All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at cf_orisa@cftigers.org.